The biggest problem the modern man has is his ego, or living in the past, the hope strategy for some men. And as you have life experiences, like myself, I'm 51 years old, you become more pragmatic. You deal with the reality. That's why you develop this huge appreciation for people that are bluntly honest, people that are being their true, authentic self. That's why you can watch like the Uncle Earls of the world, even though people say the guy's a trick. He's an honest dude. Whether you like him, hate him, whatever. People say who they are, be who they are, live the way they live. This is who I am. Sorry. You met me in person, you're going to get the real deal. So the ego of men sinks ships because pride comes in. They argue, they beef. You see the current beef you have between Anton Daniels and Corey Holcomb. At the end of the day, both dudes is taking L. Nothing is gained. Period. And that's why sometimes even myself, I stay in my channel by myself. Because at the end of the day, it becomes a whole circle jerk of egos and fantasies. It's just like men in dating and relationship. And their egos get in the way. Not understanding the modern women, the modern dating landscape, hoping for the past, the hope strategy, wishing for women to return back to a time period when they were virtuous and cared about what men want in relationships. That's gone. We live in a gynocentric environment. Social media is here. Women are hooked on delusion. And the idea to think that you have something fresh and new that the streets haven't seen before, and you just is super alpha out here, when in reality, we're all a bunch of trash can diggers. And say, well, peaceful life, you're a retired, successful guy, you're 6'7", 6'8" tall. It doesn't fucking matter. I'm consuming the same pre-owned used box as men that have multiple millions of dollars, or men that have less, a guy that's 5'8", 5'7", successful, what? It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, we're all consumers of used burgers. Maybe that dude's burger has 1-2 bites in it and yours has 6. Maybe some dude bit it, licked it a couple times before. Nothing new is being discovered. Lose the fucking ego, dudes. I don't even get in beef. I'm like, okay. I look at it like me being subbed in and out of a game. You know, hopefully you don't get subbed in behind Michael Jordan. That's called the alpha widow situation, or the, the Boys Watkins experience. Your life is going to be tortured by that broad because she's going to have fantasies of all those alpha sausages she got. But I live in a reality. So when I deal with a woman, I'm saying, okay, I've just been subbed into the game. I'm just going to give that guy a elbow, daps, on the way coming in to play my minutes. Enjoy her for who she is. That's what she is. At the end of the day, it's just your turn. Period. Married, but it doesn't matter who. You're not the first person at the scene. How many dudes have been there before you? You go to high school and college and everything else. You think all these dudes were bad dudes? You think they were terrible people? You don't think she found them arousing and attractive? Imagine the things they did with her. What new do you come to the table? You're coming to the table, and we're all experiences this used pre-owned. Nothing's sacred anymore. It's not like, remember, the price for sex a time ago used to be marriage. And then the other single men, they'll go down to the brothels. As you see in many Western movies, the guys who were married and had families, they were respectable, honorable men in society, and they had their wives. They transacted sex after marriage and whatever else. And then the rest of the men, they go to the brothels and they go back out and work and, do their jobs and go back to the gold mines or go back out doing whatever the hell they do, laying railroad tracks. They go get tuned up, get some drinks, get washed up and whatever else. You see every Western movie's like that. So don't pretend like this 304 sex working prostitution thing was not a part of our history and of life. I mean, it's just nowadays, it's just that the modern dating and relationship landscape has transacted into prostitution, especially for the women over 30 and the older guys. And, the younger women, they're still, obviously heavily indoctrinated by feminism. And they're really going to enjoy their youth, except for that 10% women that are going to get married early. They're smart enough to transact their youth and get themselves a good man when they're young. And they don't listen to these old, burnt out feminist women. Because remember, women sabotage, men compete. So these old Shinyu women, and they're out here single too, because maybe they've disrespected their way out of a relationship. There's some dude that was a good, solid dude, because there's plenty of them. And I see now, even with these older women that are just straight up scammers, all of a sudden they've found Jesus, and they don't have sex before marriage, and they're going to use the church to do the religious back. I call it the Jesus manipulation strategy, which is, I'm a Christian. I've been saved by the cross, and I don't want to have sex before marriage. That's the right thing. Yeah, you have like 3 kids and 30, 40 bodies, and some super simp jellyback is going to fall for that shit. Be like, oh, this is a good woman. The pastor going to say it's a good woman too. And he's going to come and he's going to wife her up and give her the leverage that she seeks. Now she's locked into his pension, locked into his retirement accounts and everything else. And then she go ahead and, all of a sudden, she instead of going to church 3 times a week, now she's going once a month. And she's torturing your goofy ass because you fell for that scam. They're scammers. Don't you get it? Just like some of these men's content creators is a bunch of freaking scammers. They be tricking, buying box. All men pay. And I agree with CGA. Money, energy, attention, and time. And for those who think that they don't pay, you haven't been alive long enough. Go down to child support court, divorce court. Look at the dude sitting in jail for fake domestic violence charges and whatever else. Look at the emotional labor. If you ain't, unless you're a dude who woman just, you ain't hitting her box right. If you out there pounding some woman, even if you getting it for so-called free, man, you're going to end up with bricks through your windshield, cylinder blocks. If you're going to be on emotional. Now, if you some dude is just tickling her or something like that, yeah, well then that's because if you're getting some box for free without paying with emotions and time or energy, or some broad spazzing out on you because you pounded her into ecstasy, that means that you ain't doing nothing. So you're gonna pay one way or another. So, and I'll be honest with you, some men wish they was a trick. Men like me wish, you add up the price of marriages, divorces, expenses paying with lawyers trying to fight for your kids and trying to get your kids back. You add that money up, man, Uncle Earl is saving millions. So some of these dudes wish they could do that. I'm not advocating for any of this, but I'm telling you how the real world works, and everybody is just selling a lie. So back to what I was talking about. The whole idea of the social contract. And it's not about just resources. It's the femininity, the cooperation, the loyalty, the not being used, highly used, coming to the table trying to transact the marriage or a long-term relationship. That shit is gone. And it's the egos that baffles my mind, because I'm pragmatic. When you get older, you appreciate honesty. I told you, even when I worked in profession, one of the things I appreciate when a dude looks at me and say, look, I smoke crack and I steal. And I look at the guy and say, just don't steal my shit, but we good. But he's honest. He's honest. He tells you what he is. He's not trying to be anybody else. Even with the guy with Corey Holcomb. Corey Holcomb is who he is. Whether you like him, hate him, or whatever else, I don't have any feelings about him. I just realized that he's just who he is. It's the people that try to be fake, pretend to be something that they're not. Or the guys that are entrenched with this ego thing. Or the scammers and the manipulators that keep you stuck in a loop, holding you hostage to their content or whatever else. My dream is that this channel becomes irrelevant. And I become irrelevant in this spaces because men get the message and men act accordingly, proactively, protecting their peace, protecting their happiness, protecting their resources, making decisions that are good for them, and only entertaining the 10% women that add value to your life. But there's nothing new being discovered. This is manipulation game right now in society, trying to hold men to these traditional values and standards when the world has changed. The world is modern. Unless you're interested in being a used or disposable tampon, you better make the adaptation. Period. Be smart. That doesn't mean be some bitter basement dwelling insect. But that's what you want to do. That's what you want to do. Knock yourself out. But that's not living at all. But my objective is not to keep men stuck in a loop, thinking that the old ways are coming back. What do you think was she? What do you think she was before she met you? And I'm looking you right in the eye and telling you, I'm not sitting in no car wearing no dark shades trying to sell you that bullshit ass weak game that dudes is trying to get you to game what? I'm now game in terms of understanding female nature through the red pill, understanding how women are, who they are, how they move. That's valuable. Understanding discipline, self-protection game, self-mastery. Those things are valuable. But what the hell are you trying to gain prostitutes for? Or women that have, what are you doing with your life? You're sitting around trying to what? What she's offering is for sale. That's simply what it is. And there's nothing else. And the older ones are just trying to transact and get leverage. They've mismanaged their youth. They haven't picked a man when they were younger. They're looking for pensions and benefits and a retirement plan. You're the retirement plan and the insurance policy. You think you're going to get any respect? You're not discovering anything new. So we got to lose the ego. Lose the ego. The ego is the downfall of men. That's why I don't engage in some of this bullshit on the internet. Because at the end of the day, what is the outcome at the end of the rainbow? Now, I can make a whole bunch of videos, reaction videos and all this other shit. And then for the moment, this is dopamine rush or rage-based content. But at the end of the day, what is the outcome that you're getting? What is the outcome? What do you see in the streets? I can surf around on TikTok and Instagram and put videos up of women, world is coming, oh, I'm so lonely and whatever. Bullshit. They have a biological advantage. As soon as they get off that phone, and these are sympathy, attention video. Good attention, bad attention is still attention for a woman. So she makes this video, and people get in her DMs, and people get in her comment section. She's getting attention and psychological engagement. Guarantee you after she's making that TikTok video, she's calling some dude up, and he's coming over there, and he's going deep. And then she'll make another video about how lonely and miserable she is. Man, this is a gynocentric environment. The system is designed one way. The laws are not going to change anytime soon because we're infested with jellyback simps. So at the end of the day, without changes to the laws, changes to the environment, the only thing, now if you're talking about an apocalyptic reset, what I would give credit to is the men of South Korea, the men of China, in a masculine environment, have shut down all that feminism shit and whatever. Just don't sponsor it. Don't take a part in it. That's all you have to do. Don't, okay, fine. Here we go. Okay. I am guy number 28. I am guy number 20. Or I'm guy number 10. That's the reality. You're probably guy number 10, guy number 15, guy number 20. You're not new. There's nothing special about you. You're just the latest thing. And the cycle will continue because she's used to relationship turnover and you've been turned over a couple times in relationship. So it's just your turn. I'm not saying that that's a negative or positive. Some people make good bonds in life, but I'm just pragmatic in life. Positively pragmatic. Again, understanding female nature, understanding the world around you, understand the bullshit that's being sold, and understanding that the only thing that really matters at the end is real life outcome. Outcome is what matters. Are you winning in life? Because you can only control the things that you can control, which is you. And that's really the gist of it. You only can control you. You can't control no anybody else. And like one of the brothers, CGA, said the other day, and I was watching this live stream, And he talked about the two things that I saw. You put a clip up. Salute to my brother, because whether you like him or not, he's honest. I like honest people. You see, that's why, again, whether you agree with them or not, guys like CGA or Corey Holcomb or anyone, they're honest. You can tell they're honest, as opposed to somebody selling you bullshit and dreams and lies and rage bait crap that don't get you no outcome. And one of the things he said was interesting, is that men have two powers: the ability to turn down box pre-owned and the ability to walk away. And I was like, I agree. That makes logical sense to me, regardless of feelings. And the other thing he says, that all men pay. Now, me, in my years of investigative experience, and the most experience I have in life, being a married man or whatever else, I think the guys who pay probably get off cheaper, to be honest with you. If you've been to child custody caring and guys fighting for custody of their kids, or you've had to facilitate the exchange of custody between a divorced man and his wife with a kid, and you've seen the bullshit, or even deal with a dude who's made babies all over the place or whatever else. You see the bullshit that he's gotten mentally, the torture, getting arrested, getting locked up. I can't say he's wrong. I'll be honest with you. Payment is just not money. It could be emotional torture, mental health, or inconveniences and time. So it is what it is overall. So the ego is the problem, or the not accepting of a reality, and tell, the numbers of jelly. It's hard really, because unlike those Asian cultures in South Korea and whatever, the men will stick together. They have discipline and strength. Here, they're so heavily manipulated. A lot of them been raised in an environment with single parent, not a lot of masculinity around. And there's the certain way the culture works. There's no collective behavior with men that can change the environment, because like I said, the jellybacks are so many of them, so many simps. They will undercut you, undermine. Simps are dangerous in my mind. Simps are very dangerous people. Very dangerous simps. Like, simps are deadly, in my opinion. I call them the destroyers of community. They will do anything to have XX to pre-own. And even the guys who consume a lot of the men's content and whatever else, many of them guys got OnlyFans accounts. They complain about the women, they complain about this and that, but you still sponsoring them. You still liking their pictures on social media, giving them praise in their DMs. And then you complain about the delusion of the women and how out of touch they are with reality. That's because somebody is boosting them. Period. Why is OnlyFans so popular and all these young women are getting OnlyFans? Because one, married men get into it, and some single dudes, like even that when they study the whatever podcast and Fresh and Fit and whatever, all these people that get on these podcasts, you know what happens to those women that get on those podcasts? All the dudes in the comment section calling them hoes and 304s go to their Instagram, they go to their OnlyFans page, and they sign up. Jellyback, never mind. That's the problem we have. That's the problem the modern man has. It's not just these 304s or these crazy scammer chicks. It's the jellybacks. It's an infestation of them. They're like roaches crawling on the wall, just looking for the opportunity to get their hands on some pre-owned. They will do anything for pre-owned. They will sell you down the river. They will betray their brothers, their sisters, their wife, their family, community, society. These are the type of men you're dealing with. So this is a circular conversation. But outcome is what you really want. And as an individual, nobody takes care of you like you. That's why men, you need to focus on your own self-preservation. In my opinion, do whatever the hell you want to do. You can never let this society define your masculinity and what that is to you. And again, if you're dealing with a 10% woman, knock it out. Enjoy your life, man. Enjoy your life every day. Because I always say peace is beautiful. But the idea that somebody has the answer. There's only trade-offs. There's only trade-off in this society. And the most important thing is that every day you get some value out of life, because the day is the youngest you'll be for the rest of your life. But holding on and living in the past is the biggest problem I see for the modern man. So guys, let me know what you think about this topic. But I've got to get like a locals channel or something like that, because really, certain things I can't really say on YouTube. But I think we just got to get to the point where you got to call out the bullshit for what it is. What is the outcome that you hope to achieve in life? And are you getting the things that you want? And I always recommend my brothers, the Coach of Cognition, masculine male therapists, for those guys needing some mental health counseling and whatever else, because you actually get real value out of something like that, as opposed to indulging in various rage bait content and the circle jerk of YouTube and content creators, when dudes are just saying shit, but in reality, in their real life, they're a bunch of cucks, beta males, simps, and whatever. I won't use that word because some women will use that manipulated, anti-masculine, compromised men that have figured out the YouTube algorithm and that are serving you a bunch of bullshit. So at the end of the day, peace and blessings to you guys. Make sure you hit the like button. But we got to get this conversation moving on. So at the end of the day, it's about you and the things that you have to do. But I encourage brothers to approach life from a more pragmatic, reality-based outcome, as opposed to the circle of bullshit that I see out here in these streets. Anyhow, peace and blessings, you guys. Hit the like button. More conversation coming your way. I'm out.